Hello, hello, hello. Tonight we are doing a special broadcast of Pop and Politics. We usually broadcast on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., but we are doing this Sunday night. Again, we are talking about the latest in hot topics, news, and entertainment. I'm Kay. Let me introduce you to my co hosts. We have Crystal and Shelly E. All right, as I always say, join the conversation by leaving a comment on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook. We will check the comments periodically throughout the show. And don't just comment, subscribe. Subscribe to our social media so you always know when we post new content. You can also, if you miss us here on YouTube, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under Pop and Politics. We're also on Rumble. You can check us out there. Again, if you love independent media and want to support what we do, donate. We love our super chatters. You can donate right on our website also at www.popandpoliticslive.com. All right, ladies, let's set it off. So,
Go.
yes. So, as you guys know, we are talking tonight about the Trump trial, specifically the one in New York City. This is the civil fraud case brought on by the New York Attorney General Letitia James. Lots of stuff has come out in the past couple of actually week. And so we're going to break it down and basically give our take on what's going on. So I want to open it up to you ladies right off the bat. Shelly, what are your thoughts on this trial?
I don't even know why there was a trial technically because the judge gave a summary judgment in the beginning. So to me, this is all a show trial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I feel really saddened. I mean, like, seriously, this is a man who, I mean, love him or hate him, he's lived an impeccable life. I mean, like, his kids are amazing people. And because we have a prosecutor who um doesn't even like she I hate, oh God, I hate talking about her like this, but she's just made her whole career about attacking somebody that she doesn't like. Like, he's never done anything to her. And to see our justice system used this way and allowed to be used this way, it's really disheartening. Like, like, I'm sad.
Yeah, I want to go back a little bit to why we're having the trial.
Mhm.
So, first of all, none of us are lawyers or attorneys. We are
Disclaimer.
right, political pundits. And personally, I have not read enough factual information to draw any objective legal opinion. So, put that out there firstly. But as far as the trial and why we have a trial, so Letitia James's, that's the prosecutor's lawsuit, has 7 causes of action, according to the New York Post, the civil equivalent of what we call counts in criminal indictments. So the reason there is now a trial, even though Trump has already been found liable, is that the judge, Arthur Egeron, has found him liable on only the first cause of action. The trial is on the remaining 6 causes of action. Moreover, as the New York Post reports, besides seeking up to $250 million in damages, James asked for 9 other remedies. So far, Engeron has granted only the first 2 remedies. It is an ongoing trial, which is expected to last, for a while, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and grant the rest of them. But just to give a little background there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just kind of feel like, so my issue is that they're finding him to be fraudulent. They're saying that he overestimated the amount that, or the value that was on his properties, and he falsified like loan documents. And it's so interesting to me because I was watching this podcaster talk about like New York properties, and he actually did a study on properties in New York. and he he used the little measured like those laser measurers, and he went around to all the property, like all the commercial properties that were saying, hey, we're like 1,800 square feet or we're 2,000 square feet, and he measured them and they were all off by like astronomical numbers. I mean, like, it's documented. They were off like by 500 and up square feet. And then the guy asked him, he was like, why are we doing this in New York? And his response was, it's commercial real estate. It's New York commercial real estate. And so a precedent has been set that you overestimate. Now, I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, but when a precedent has been set, then other people follow suit. And so for you to try and act like New York, Letitia James and all the prosecutors there, to act like this has never been done, like, oh my God, they're clutching their pearls, like he overestimated the amount or the value of what have you, it's just so disingenuous. It's not even funny. Like, it makes me angry.
Oh my God.
Yeah, not only angry, but it should make people, anyone doing business within the state of New York, very hesitant that this is going on, because as we can see, if they get their eye on you, if you're making waves of any kind, they can choose to go after you and just go through, target you, and if you're not squeaky clean, you can be prosecuted.
Yeah.
You can be prosecuted, even if you're not doing any harm to any individual or state. And that's the thing within New York's law. The law doesn't require a showing of harm. So the state doesn't have to prove the defendant even intended to defraud anyone, much less actually defraud someone. It just needs to establish that any creditor or financial institution even relied on his misrepresentations. Those misrepresentations were material, or that anyone was actually fooled by them. So,
yeah. So I want to go back like you did. So New York, California, Washington, D.C., and some other places throughout the country are historically known to be overvalued or overpriced precisely because of the people that are attracted there primarily, right? So that's going to raise the cost or even the perception of the value of the property. That's number one, at least. And again, I'm not a lawyer, like you said. These are some of the thoughts that I had just gathered over this time, right? That's number one. Number two, you're right. The New York's law says that no harm has to be caused. On the other side, every loan, to my understanding, that he took out, he has repaid.
Yeah.
And there are some we've all signed mortgages, certainly even a rental contract. There's so much legal leads in there. And granted, Trump has teams of lawyers, things like that. But the loans were paid back. Not one of the banks is alleging or even claiming any kind of defraudment, or if that's how you say it, defrauding, or any kind of lies or anything. He paid the loans back. Loans are lent out with interest. So not only did he pay back the principal, he paid back the interest, right? Mm-hmm. So this is just, again, I hate to use this word. I know we use it a lot. It is a witch hunt. It is a witch hunt. So even if he was found summarily guilty on the first, which I don't understand why his lawyers, again, from my understanding, his lawyers didn't ask for a jury trial. Mm-hmm. I don't understand all those legal maneuvers. I don't. But the fact that a jury is not hearing this says even more to me, adds credence that this is a witch hunt. Not to mention the attorney general is on video, several videos stating that one of her primary goals would be to get Trump. Now, how is that no bias?
Well, let me ask you this.
You shouldn't be allowed to do that. You shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Well, that's what I want to ask you all, because, I agree that Trump is being targeted, but he's being targeted legitimately, I would think. And let me ask you this, because let's look at Martha Stewart. She lived in New York State.
Very different.
Well, she was, she was targeted for tax fraud.
No, not tax fraud.
Yes, it was tax fraud.
It was in insider trading.
Insider trading.
It was tax fraud and insider trading.
But she went to jail for insider trading. That's very, very different than what.
No, what I'm saying is she was targeted.
Mm-hmm.
But the one caveat is, were they guilty? Were they guilty of going after? Most of these prosecutors go after big fishes. They go after celebrities. Look at what Hunter, Joe Biden's son. I mean, we've been talking about him for weeks. He needs to be prosecuted. He's done something wrong, and we're doing that because he is Joe Biden's son. There have been a number of people who have been targeted by prosecutors, celebrities, or famous people. Tony Braxton, Shakira, R. Kelly, Wesley Snipes. One of the people I watched, Teresa Giudice. She's a famous reality star. She would not have been targeted but for she was on reality TV. What makes any of these people different than Trump? That's
because a precedent has been set. So first of all, Trump has not been targeted for unpaid taxes. He's been targeted. Literally, this woman, Letitia James, ran because black folks. I don't know what your problem is with Trump. Like, seriously, I'm going to say it just like he said. You don't like me very much, but I've done a lot for you. Seriously, it's like they have a problem with him. And so all the black people, like, she feels like she's standing up for all the liberals and the Democratic Party and all the white liberals. So people keep saying that he should have got a jury trial. He should have got a jury trial in New York. It was 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. And whatever decision they made, they thought they would get a more fair trial with the judge because of the precedence that was set. They're not saying that Trump has not paid any taxes. They don't like the fact that he legally avoided taxes. And I will say tax evasion is illegal. Tax avoidance is not. Get your CPA and figure it out how you can pay less taxes, because it's not the government's money. It is your money. So, like it or not, he didn't pay any taxes. And now they're trying to get him on overvaluing his property. Well, when they found out that his property value was actually more, now they're trying to get him on undervaluing his property. They're trying to get him on anything that they can.
Anything. And to your point, KJ, to your point about prosecutors, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. First of all, I would say add to, prosecutors don't only go after the celebrities, so to speak. Right. They go after, look at the January 6 people. Those were just quote unquote normal citizens, right? They're not necessarily celebrities or whatever, but they go after who they think they can get. Even if the foundation on which they're going after, in many cases, I'm not saying all cases, I'm not saying all the time, but in many cases, particularly Trump, this man has been targeted from day one.
I'm not disagreeing
so anything that they do already goes against them, even if it was a legitimate. He's been impeached twice, and they have him on an indictment again for January 6th.
Well, I'm not talking
No, I know. I'm not talking about their case. I'm not talking about their case per se. I'm just talking about some of the whole picture, or as much as the picture that we can supply.
Well, when you talk about legally, when you look at prosecutors, they go after the big fishes. Generally, they go after.
It's not a situation, because they could have gone after him before, KJ. Like, he's been in the spotlight for forever. They could have gone after him when he was doing his apprentice show.
They go after them when it's convenient for them.
Yes, they don't like him and they want to not.
I agree he is being targeted.
I know, but what
major caveat here is you need to begin with legitimate evidence of wrongdoing. Even if they are targeting, and they do this, these prosecutors all across the country, they try to make names for themselves. They go after people, a lot of financial crimes and things, and they're targeting people. But the one caveat is you need to begin with legitimate evidence.
You don't necessarily need to. You can create evidence, KJ. You can.
What was the evidence that was created here?
He didn't commit a crime. He paid his loans. There was no crime.
Yes.
How long? I don't know the statute of limitations as far as time. I don't know, but there was no crime.
There was no harm, and I know.
Prosecutors have unlimited access to funds to fund their cases.
I get that, but the law here, again, we do have to go by the law. States it does not require harm. The state has used Trump's financial records to establish that he significantly, like you mentioned, overstated the value of his assets in statements of financial condition. that are customarily required in various business dealings. And so basically, he,
Why,
like you
so I
mentioned,
would ask them
I
why.
mean, I'm
Why
not
Trump?
saying this is legit.
No, I know. I would just ask why Trump.
It is.
I would,
And the guy who actually talked about it, he's a YouTuber. His name is Louis Rossman, and he is not a Trump supporter at all. And he uses that little measuring tape, and he was like, he calls it a lie detector test. He was like, this is the lie detector test I use for commercial real estate and for everybody. He was like, so what are we going to do about all the other people, all the newspaper ads, all the advertisements that say something is larger than it is in order to charge more rent. Now, I'm not saying that Trump is not liable for maybe overstating his assets, maybe understating. I don't. That part, my issue is that this is a man who has been in the public eye for years. Like, why all of a sudden, after he is the president of the United States of America? First of all, nobody is above the law, but yes, you have to respect certain offices. And for you to just attack him for absolutely no reason, he hasn't done any harm. He hasn't, and I know you don't have to show any harm, but all those other people, they lied and they did not pay. And insider trading is probably one of the worst things that you can do to an economy, because if you start trading when
our Congress does it. People in Congress do it all the time.
They do it all the time. But what I'm saying is that those types of things, if he was doing that would kind of make a little bit more sense. But you're going after him over bank documents saying that
the banks didn't even bring forth.
The law states that, again, this law here in New York City states that the banks did not have to bring forward. I saw the comment there. It says many of the financial institutions that did business with Trump did so for years. They made loans indemnified to Trump, which you guys mentioned he paid back. But this law does not require the bank or someone that he did a loan with to bring forward some type of harm or some type of evidence that he defrauded. This state, the prosecutor is going after him.
And you know what I have
financial records and found this wrongdoing.
And you know what I have to say to that prosecutor is the exact same thing that the lawyer was saying. Like, this is the taxpayer dollars. And it's so interesting to me that people don't even care and they're not talking about that. I was talking to someone who literally had Trump derangement syndrome the other day, because I was talking about all the tax money, all the time, and all the things that they could be doing with the funds that they have in New York City. And when I brought up the fact that, but they're spending this money to spend on Trump's trial, it's literally like a glaze came over her eyes and she said, well, I don't care. Spend all the money to put him in jail.
Right.
That is not right. And we are in a country that you're allowed to say that out loud. That should be a no-no. We are supposed to give people the presumption of innocence. We are supposed to give people a free and fair trial. We are supposed to give people you are innocent until proven guilty. And for somebody to literally just act hysterical like that over a person you've never even met tells me that the media is working exactly the way.
So I want to go to KJ, to your point about the law. So, does it even register to people that, number one, in my never to be humble opinion, we have too many laws, number one. Number two, the people who are making these laws are people themselves with their own biases and their own motivations, good, bad, up or down, for whatever reason. And they will pick and choose what law and when to use it against whomever. In this case, they're political rivals. We cannot separate that. I understand what you're saying, that law is on the book. But many laws are on the book that are never used except for when it's politically opportunistic and the right time or person that different people may or may not like. So I don't think we can separate any of those.
Yeah, I agree. But my point is, again, I agree that they are targeting him. But I think we kind of lose it when we focus on the trial and not focus on, like what you said, Crystal, whether this is legally okay to do. This is legally okay to do, but is it, these prosecutors have judicial discretion, and is it worth it?
They don't have judicial. That's a made up thing. You do not.
No, they do. They do. They choose what they want to prosecute.
But that is not right.
That's what I'm saying. And so what I'm saying is, I think, oh my God, Matt in here. Sorry. I think what Republicans, what we need to focus on is the fact that you have this attorney who did target Trump. She's been at the trial, I think, most days. Everyday citizens don't get that. Everyday citizens, people who are rape victims, and she sends some flunky low-level prosecutor to do these jobs, to handle these crimes. She's not sitting in trial looking at these criminals or these accusers of crime in their eye like she's been staring down Trump. This is why we should be upset, or at least New Yorkers.
Yeah, and I'm
ashamed.
I'm ashamed because you, Letitia James, are a Black woman. You know exactly the issues that we face every single day. You know exactly the things that our school systems are going through. You know the crime within our community. And you take your little behind to sit there and prosecute somebody who has literally done nothing. And for her to just be like, oh, I don't care, I'm gonna get him. And hold on, what's the saying that she said, you guys, is she too pale, too stale, too like whatever? Like, and this goes back to Republicans. Why are y'all allowing this? Your behind should be in you should be in every congressman's inbox like an insane person, because you should not be allowed to say those things out loud at all.
Well, not just Republicans, but I would say any white person.
Yes.
I mean, we've talked about this on the show, and again, actually everyone should be upset, no matter the color, but specifically the way this woman is pursuing, people based on the color of their skin, and the comments that she's made. I mean, people nowadays are just so outright racist.
Yes.
And it's not right. And as a Black woman, I'm not going to sit here and say just because she's favoring Black people, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm okay with it, because the pendulum will swing.
It will swing. It will swing. And talking about the things she's saying, someone put a comment about free speech. I also was not just angry. I also find this, again, part of the show trial is these gag orders. Okay. These gag orders. So the prosecutor can go out every day and have this public press conference saying whatever she wants, but the defendant can't. He gets a gag order. And it's not just because of Trump. Look, yes, I voted for Trump twice, but I'm pretty much like this free speech on many, many things across the board. And this is outrageous that she could go there and she uses this Black trope. First of all, like you started off by saying, Crystal, Trump has done, he has not gone after Black people, but you know who have gone after Black people? Black people. Black people have gone after Black people for not voting the way they think they should, or for not saying or looking or whatever, acting the way that they think they should. People like Letitia James and Fannie Willis in Georgia, wherever she is. This is outrageous, and it's nothing but using our court system to cover up the racism. This is basically segregation and Jim Crow again, 2023.
And there are some limits to free speech. A prosecutor cannot go out there and talk about the skin color of their prosecutor. Just like if you're a teacher, you can't go out there and talk about your student. There is a correlation of some kind of fiduciary, whatever, I don't know what you want to call the term, but you cannot do that. And you cannot go out there and say that the person that you're prosecuting is too pale and too stale. You can't say that. You can't.
Yeah,
and I don't care if you don't like him. Say I don't. He doesn't particularly, my type. Say whatever, but you cannot go out there and say
that shouldn't even be. That's not even a matter. It's not even relevant to the case. Period.
Not. It certainly is not. And not only that, but it just shows that she's going in with an agenda, and it had, like you said, it has nothing to do with the case.
Yes.
And she had said that if this was a white prosecutor saying this about a Black person,
yes,
this would be all over the news. People would be marching and protesting.
Yes.
But because he's white, then it's just rolled over because of the whole, idea of whiteness and white supremacy. And it's really not right. And you have white liberals who are standing up for this.
And it's like, white people, are y'all just so masochistic? I don't know what you would, like, why would you allow somebody to talk about your children like that? That is your children. That is your son. That is your daughter.
grandfather.
It's called white guilt.
Blame
It's
yourself.
called white guilt. White guilt. A lot of these white liberals, and this time I am saying liberals, these white liberals, some are leftists, they have this white guilt. And that black people, like Letitia James, not all black people, of course, but black leftists and black liberals, if you will, make them feel like they still have something to pay and that they owe them for all the things that maybe their ancestors did or didn't do. Again, this is Letitia James living out her racial comeuppance at the expense of taxpayers and in New York City in the court system. This is what we're all paying for. And I'm saying we, because by and large, guess what? All this federal tax money, state money, it all goes up and down the government chain. It's still taxpayers' money.
Well, and this white guilt, as you mentioned, I mean, are they willing to pay penance in the form of their children, of their white sons and daughters? Are they willing to pay penance in that? I'm not. I wouldn't.
And they better wake up really quickly. It's a hustle. It is a hustle. And I'm telling y'all are getting so caught up. It's a tangled web that you can't, and your children will pay the price. Your sons, your daughters, your grandfathers are white. Your grandmothers are white. Your husband is white. Like, and for you to just allow a group of people who haven't accomplished a fifth of what you guys have done in this country. I don't care what nobody said. Black people got a long way to go, and I love my people. But for how dare they look at you who are trying to make the country better, who have the suburbs and trying to get rid of crime, and look at you and say, "Oh, well, you don't understand." No, I don't understand the ghetto, and you need to not apologize.
I got a test for these white guilt people. I got a test for them. The same people, these black people who you think are, cajoling you and who like you and who want to make you feel, go up to them. And since they believe in this DEI and all this foolishness, go up to them and say, "I love being white," and watch them rip your ass to pieces. Watch them. These same people. Go up there to them and say that. But you come to us and you talk to us, normal, sound people. What we can talk to. We won't do that. But go up to Letitia James, since she loves you so much and wants to go up there and just tell her how much you love being white. She will rip your ass.
I love my pale skin. I think my pale skin is beautiful. I love that, Shelly. Oh my God. Every white person should do that.
And then we have in the backdrop of this case and them going after Trump within New York, we have the migrant crisis, the illegal immigrant crisis, and the New York City cuts. Just this week, or last week, I should say, the Mayor Adams announced all of these cuts that they're about to do. As part of the belt tightening plan, he's going to cut the NYPD to the lowest it's been in decades by June 2025. According to the Washington Examiner, in the extremely bloody era of the early 1990s, when the city had more than 2,000 murders a year, the force had fallen to just 29,000 officers. Now he's going to cut it. She said drop by 13% from the current 33,000. So this is actually, if you look at the population now and compare it to the population in New York during the 90s, this is actually less police officers than it was then.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we are seeing that all over the country. Again, white people go to these places, these cities, New York City, Baltimore, Chicago, LA, all these places, St. Louis, Missouri, where there's a predominantly, I guess, black population. Go in these cities, go in these places where you don't go because you know how much of a cesspool they are by the same people who look like us, who are running them. Jason Riley wrote a book, I don't know how long ago, called False Black Power. This is where black people believe that they get their power from being in political office on the campaign trail, saying how much they're going to do and help black people, but it never comes to pass. They get more power while we still get kicked in the ass.
It's so true. It's so true. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching Eric Adams, another black man, just a hustle. It's a hustle. It's so bad because you would think that these people care about the brown people that are going to be affected by this. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I grew up in the 90s, crack epidemic, 80s, and I distinctly remember the day that I was not afraid to go to school. And that was when Mayor Giuliani, God bless that man. I love him. I don't care what none of y'all say about him. He enacted stop and frisk. And he got them Negroes, them ninjas, off the corner so they wouldn't bother us. We were getting stabbed for JanSport book bags. You was getting choked out and sliced, and they called it $1.50. They would slice you on your face. Like all kinds of terrorism. That's what it was going on in the hood. And let me tell you something. Eric Adams, I know he remembers it, and he's gonna bring it back. That, and I hope. Honestly, I don't hope that happens, but I want you guys to wake up.
And as you mentioned, Shelley, we talk about this idea of these cities and they're being run down by black and brown people who on the other hand say they're for these black and brown people that they are supposed to be leading. And the reason why they're doing this and are able to do this is because they're not being held accountable. I don't care how shady of a grifter you are. You can't grift somebody that's thinking and that knows what's coming. You can try to boost me and you can try to get over on me, but if I'm watching you and I'm asking questions and I'm being vigilant, there's no grifting here. But these people in the city, they're so obsessed with color and with race that instead of them holding these politicians accountable and asking questions and getting them out of office when they're not doing their jobs correctly, they continue to elect these people and vote them in again just because they're black.
Yep. And it's so sad.
Yep. It's a powerful thing.
Yeah, I remember Angela Stanton King. I love her. She was just like, I don't care if we got to get a new mayor every 2 years. Every 2 years, out the door. You out the door. You can't do it. Somebody else will. You congressman, we get a new one. Every two, I don't care. You out the door. And they need to, and if black people started doing that, they would start respecting your vote a little bit more. But there's no consequences for
there's no consequences. And it's no consequences. You're right. And one of the reasons is that what's the old saying? You don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. So when you are relying on these people to give you free chicken, free this and free that, everything free, which is really not, but everything free, you're relying on them to really subsidize your life. You're going to be very hesitant to bite their hands. But see, this is the problem. This is where, again, these taxes come in because we are paying it. Look, I posted something on my social media the other day about, getting this surge of anger when I see people, healthy people, able-bodied people that I know are scamming the system with EBT cards, right? Yeah. And somebody emailed me or whatever, and it was a little upset. Can you
explain? Some people may not know because I think EBT is just in Maryland. They call it something else other places.
SNAP cards, food stamps, right, basically. But my comment was really directed at those who are healthy and able, who really, they just get them because they can. They don't really need them. And I said, when I go shopping around this time of year, and not to mention this inflation, I get a surge when I see able-bodied people using those cards that I'm paying for cash with my groceries, right? And so the comment was, well, you got to think about, I used to have food stamps, whatever, bullshit. So what? Yeah. So what? It wasn't directed at you, number one, that person. But the point I was making is that our taxes are subsidizing this foolishness, and it never gets better. What happens is we pay more for people to do absolutely nothing who don't need it and don't deserve it.
Yeah, there's no incentive for being a working citizen, taking care of your family. Like it seems to be no incentive. And when I hear ignorant people say, oh, well, the government is going to give me food stamps or the government is going to give me housing. And I want to ask them, is the government selling bananas on the street that they're making money? No, the government gets money from you working. If you don't work, the government has no money. Do you understand the break in the system?
They don't understand it.
No, they don't.
They don't understand it. They just know that they're getting free money. They think it's free. They're getting it, and that's all they take. But people are starting to wake up. We just saw this rapper Cardi B came out in an explosive Instagram talking about what's going on with the migrant crisis in New York City. and she was not happy. You talk about people who remember the 90s and you know, the crime crisis in New York City. She was up, she was livid talking, and she was a surrogate for President Biden. She came out saying she doesn't want to be on his ticket anymore, you know, with this stuff that's going on in New York City. She slammed the sanitation department because this is part of the cuts. Mayor Adams, he's going to be cutting the sanitation department. They're not going to be picking up trash. They've cut the fire department. The city will soon see dirtier areas around pedestrian and park areas. They already have a homeless crisis. So, I mean, and now this illegal immigrant crisis. So you're not going to be cleaning up after these people. I mean, what, over the summer they were spilling actual feces in the street, and they're cutting sanitation. So even she was upset about it.
Greg Abbott, Governor Greg Abbott is a freaking genius. Like nobody cared when this was happening to poor Texans. Nobody cared when this was happening on the border states. Now it's right in your face, Mr. Sanctuary City. Enjoy it. Welcome the neighbors.
Just like what's his name, Gavin Newsom said last week when talking about why they cleaned up the streets for the communist Chinese president. So one of the things I mean, I loved it. It was right in your face. He said, "That's true. That's true." He said, "Yeah, but this is what we did. It's true." And okay, and 2 weeks ago you had shit running down your sewers, literally down the street. So he said it's true, right in our faces, right in their faces. And what are Californians going to do? What are New Yorkers going to do? Nothing. Chicago, Baltimore. We have the grift and the graft and all this. We have it here, and we still don't have enough outrage at the down at City Hall or wherever. We don't. But let them say. They're giving out free food. The lines will be around the block.
You know, this is what they're
doing. And this is the plan. So, because you ask yourself, why is Biden allowing these open borders? Why are they letting all these men come in across our borders and letting them in? They're sending them across the country, the cities all over the place. Why are they doing this? It's because they're trying to create a new class of social welfare recipients. So they believe that when these illegals coming in here, they're going to have to get on welfare. They're going to be like, oh, well, we're giving you this money, so you have to vote for us. That's what they're doing. That's what they're trying to do.
And one reason they're doing that, I think, and we've talked about this before, is that particularly with Black men, it seems like according to some of the recent polls and stats, Black men are going more and more conservative. They're at least going a little bit right of center, certainly, to the right. So they're losing that population. I hope they're losing it significantly, but at least there's a movement. So you're right. They got to replace these people. Look, the system does not survive. Certainly not the Democrat Party. It does not survive if people are not on welfare. If people are not relying on them, it won't survive. So they need that constant population to rely on them physically, mentally, in whatever other way, financially that they do. And who's paying for it? Who's paying for it? We are.
I was about to say they need a working class. They need a working class that's going to take it right up the rear. And that's why I say the fact that Republicans are not in their congressperson's inbox every day is insane to me. The fact that white people are just literally just taking this, like Black people are able to say, y'all don't understand, and this and this and that, and your white privilege. Like, when are we going to just get so fed up? Like, enough is enough. We did this in 2020, y'all. We're not doing this again. It's 2024. We're not doing this again.
Yeah. And not to mention, you have this idea that these people are, again, like you mentioned, they continue to vote in the same politicians. They continue the cycle, and we get, and the cities get what they get. This is what I was going to say. But the crazy thing about it is, so we have this trial against Trump, and it's basically going after him for being an investor. And as you guys mentioned, doing something that many investors have done. Developers have done. to me, it should scare the development community.
Yes.
I mean, if I was a developer, if I was an investor, I would not want to invest or develop in New York City, New York State ever again. Exactly. And so that's where we need to see the exodus. And then that's where they will lose their money making, because again, this runs on hardworking people. It runs on the working class developers, investors like that. They need to come. They need to leave New York ASAP.
Yeah, and they make their money and they get their power off of fear. I don't feel like they should leave at all. I think they should be backing Trump wholeheartly.
That's what I would love to see them doing.
And I guarantee you dig hard enough, you're gonna find some skeletons in Miss Letitia James's closet as well. Yes, you guys gotta fight fire with fire. Like I'm telling you, if you're coming at me. If you're coming at us and you're coming for my future and you're coming, like, go for them just as hard.
I think they can do both. I would love to see both, like what you said.
Business in New York City.
Yeah, I would love to see both.
Ever. The way that this trial shows you that if you get on their radar, they will come after you. It's not a state. It is not a city friendly to business. Get out. And
I would do that. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. You can still back Trump, but you can still move your business and take it out and make it even bigger.
That's a louder statement. And we saw that in California, how they cleaned up everything because they had all these businesses coming in. You know, San Francisco, people weren't going there. So, you know, they had APEC coming and they were thinking this was going to bring in money and investment into the city, which it probably did. Money is king. That's what these people hear and listen to. Take your business out of New York.
Agree. Agree. And I mean, honestly, like I know it seems really bad for Trump, but I just know he's a lot smarter than these people, and that's what they don't like. He doesn't respect y'all. He thinks y'all are stupid. Like, y'all are so used to people kissing your behind or kissing your tail. He's not gonna do that. And honestly, you guys, I feel like he's gonna be just okay. His kids' inheritance is in trust that y'all can't touch. So y'all can sit up here and talk about the value of his stuff. He's good. He's good.
I mean, he might be good, Crystal. I mean, I hear you, and I hope that too. I'm not saying that that's not the case, but the point is these cases and these indictments they're not really about Trump. They're giving us their messages for the rest of us, because just like KJ said, they can come after other businesses. Well, guess what? At least the Biden administration, I would even say since Trump has been in office the first time, they are coming after anybody who supports him. And the message is that because you didn't vote for Hillary, or you're not a Democrat, or you're a MAGA supporter, or you believe that the election was defraud, whatever, we're coming after you any way we can. So the message is even larger than Trump. I still contend he's just the symbol. You know, he's the one taking the financial and literal hits. But this is a bigger message for all of America.
Yeah, and I agree. I'm just laughing at some of the constituents of the Democratic Party, like laughing. Oh, he's not worth as much as he said he was. Oh, he's gonna go broke. Like, y'all are just falling into the matrix. Like, let me tell you something. Trump, he's unbothered. He's about to be 80 years old. He was the president of the United States. He's gotten to the pinnacle of pinnacles. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, lock him away? Like, that's the only thing he hasn't done, is been in jail. Like, he's done everything.
I mean, that's a big thing. I hope that it is the way you're saying it is. But you know, when somebody who's worked so hard for their living and their money, and not only that, the reputation, the name. And then, this is just one trial. I mean, he's got multiple trials where they're coming after him, not only for his freedom, where he could be put in jail, but then his livelihood. This is a big thing. And this is why I think another reason why we see men, particularly Black men, moving away from the Democrat Party, because this onslaught against Trump is an onslaught against men, against power, against men.
Masculinity.
Right, masculinity. Yeah, that's exactly right. And so once again, this is why he's surging in the polls. is because people do see that this is, whether they have the legal right to do it, it is a seen as a witch hunt. It is seen as them going after men and people who have just worked hard all their life and business. So again, get out of New York. Get out. That's what I say. Get out.
Yeah, it's sad. It really is sad. And you watch, I watched Ivanka. Did y'all like watch her go into the trial and like they were hurling insults at her? Like it's just so amazing to me to watch her just stand strong and not break and to protect her dad. Like when everybody wants her to denounce him, like she refuses.
Right.
And that to me shows more of his character, that his children are rocking. I'm telling you, when no one else is for you, when your children say, "Dad, I got your back," like Trump is fine. He's fine. Like I think at this point he's fighting for us. And there's been great men in all of history that have fought for people who couldn't fight for themselves, who did things just because it's the right thing to do. And
they fought for causes that were bigger than just their personal standing.
Exactly. And I think for him, like his family all get it and they love him. And I feel like he's just fine. We need to be worried, like you said.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna move right along, and we're still in New York City. But there's another issue where, as we enter the holiday season, Pride Month is not just for June. It's not just about the summertime, and it's not a month. Now it's 365 days, and it's part of Christmas. This is our counterview segment.
It's hard. You're cute and submissive. It's hard. I am a man repellent. It's hard because all I do is go to gay events and drag shows and anything to make a buck, save a buck. Anything to make a buck. It's hard.
All right. So yes. So this is our counterview segment where we take a portion of the view and respond to it. So this week we're talking about something they were talking about actually recently. Take a look here.
There's no audio. There's no audio.
No volume?
No audio, yeah.
Oh. One second. So you guys can't hear it?
No.
Oh.
Push play now. It's not playing right now.
Right. I stopped it. All right. Let me try again. Can you hear it now?
No. Can you hear it on your end?
Yeah, I can hear it. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let me try something else. 1 second.
You want to just explain it?
Yeah, I can just explain it then. Sorry about that. I'm not sure. Let me try. Okay. So let me see here. All right. So basically, Target, which I have not shopped at since May, actually, I've been back, is now putting out a Christmas display, and part of their Christmas display is Pride. So specifically, the View spoke about their they have a nutcracker, and this or pop, I guess you call it nutcracker, and he is with the Pride, the trans flag, the Pride flag, Pride hat, everything Pride. So now they have incorporated Pride into Christmas.
Yep.
So what Joy is saying is that Republicans, or anyone actually who disagrees with this, are short-sighted, because there are people who are, it's not just homosexuals who celebrate Christmas, just heterosexuals who celebrate Christmas, it's homosexuals too. Well, so I want to get your thoughts on this, Shelly.
Look, I'm sick of everything is in wheelchairs now. We had the trans person in the wheelchair a couple weeks ago that looked like the absolute. It was just outrageous. Now we have Santa Claus in the wheelchair. I just want to know how the hell is he gonna get down the chimney? I mean, why can't children just have a magical, sweet, innocent time of Christmas? Look, you're not gonna get your toys if Santa is in a wheelchair. You just can't do it. You can't do it.
What about the idea that these things need to represent everybody?
They don't. Look, you can make up Santa Claus and the Nutcracker and whomever in your own house, whatever. But every store does not have to cater to it. Black people, okay, let's be honest. Black people for hundreds of years or whatever have had a black Santa, or they don't want to say white Christmas. Okay, fine. But you don't have to go and change the whole market of Santa Claus or Christmas just to appease all of these different groups. In your own house, celebrate Santa. But I do know seeing a Santa in a wheelchair on a Target rack, which I haven't shopped at for a while. I don't regularly shop there anyway. But that is it's just stupid. This is so stupid. Everything that children love and it's just an innocent time, a beautiful time, it's just being corrupted. It's just another thing to corrupt. Just let children be.
Yeah. Oh my God, Shelly, how he gonna get the wheelchair down? That's it.
Santa in a wheel. They had these black Santas in wheelchairs. This is ridiculous.
Shelly and KJ, y'all have ableism problems. Like, what are we doing? So first of all, I have an issue like with this whole pride and this whole Nutcracker. I mean, like Christians, they are making fun. Like, I mean, historically, Christmas is a Christian holiday, right? Yeah. And so they're making fun of your God again, and y'all just acting like punks. I'm sorry. I mean, like, they're just doing it right in your face. Because, I mean, if you believe the Bible that you read, God says that homosexuality is abomination. But my issue is like, what are you proud about? I mean, like, you happy that you're getting your booty blasted? I mean, I don't understand what's so prideful about what you're doing. And they're just like shoving it. And we are not pushing back on them because, I mean, the fact of the matter is only like it's like 1 in 9 people have, are claim to be LGBT, part of the LGBTQ community. So if we can think of 1 in, let's say like 1 in every 9 people are wheelchair accessible. 1 in every person is what? Like, can you imagine the things that the things that we would have to mimic if we picked the 1 in 9 people of something? Like, it's just weird.
It's weird, and it's definitely propaganda, and it's just like, I mean, why do we always have to have this shoved in our face? And like you mentioned, Crystal, if you're gay, be gay. I mean, why we have to have all these flags and
right.
Now the trans flag. I mean, they got like, I think now I think it has some like 100 flags. It was not trans flags.
You on all the carpet that you want, sis. I don't care.
Black people. Guess what? Trans and LGBTQ, they have more months and days than we do. They got June, they got October, now they got at least 60 days. We only get 28. Black people when are you rise? Black people rise. Take back your power. I mean, are you serious? These are the same people that are selling you this crap, but yet you, Black people, your homes, your families, your communities are still going down the toilet.
How is this Christmas?
They don't like Christians, and Christians are not getting mad enough about the fact that they're making fun of your God. They're making fun of your God, and so and they're allowed to, because I don't see a Muhammad wrapped in I don't see a gay I don't see a gay anything else, right? You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
Go over there and wrap Muhammad in a rainbow flag, and your ass won't come out alive.
Period. You wouldn't even get to wrap it. You'd start the wrap, you pull it out, and it close enough to Muhammad, your head will be cut off.
Right.
Yeah. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, and the rainbow.
I don't understand why we gotta do this all the time.
I know, it's just too much. It's
all
too much.
Time.
I mean, I heard this guy say, and it's true, like, we can coexist, but stop trying to overexist. Like, like, I'm trying to overexist. We can coexist. Do whatever you want to do. Like, seriously, if you,
I don't care. I'm sure you all probably. I do not care what adults do behind the privacy of their own doors. I just don't want to see it in the streets, and I definitely don't want you doing it with children. Leave children alone. Why can't? Again, Christmas. It's a religious holiday. It's a national holiday. It's a beautiful holiday. Whether or not you celebrate it, to whatever degree you celebrate it, leave it alone. Most children, particularly American children, will celebrate Christmas in some way, shape, or form. Leave them alone. They can have the magical stories. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Having a magical, beautiful story to learn about, a baby in a manger. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that?
Bringing up who you like to sleep with, without you bringing up, I don't care. Like I said, get your booty blasted as much as you want. Munch on all the carpet that you desire, sweetheart. No one cares.
That's the point. That's the point, though. That is why, because you have some of these people you ever come across that they're acting like, oh, don't look at me, but look at me. This is how it is. This is what it is. They want everyone to look at them and acknowledge them. It's ridiculous. I do want to acknowledge. Speaking of acknowledge, I do want to acknowledge we have a super chapter. Super chatter tonight. She's Deborah. She says Shelly is on fire tonight.
Oh wow! Thank you, Deborah.
Yes, she is. Yeah.
Thank you for your support.
Absolutely.
Look, none of those again. We talk about this trans agenda really is coming at the children, right? Yeah. But ironically, talking about Christmas, not one of those wise men wanted to put it in Jesus's butt. They didn't want to do that. None of them wanted to do that. Not one. They corrupt things. They honored him. They took gifts to him. They wanted to protect him. They didn't want to stick it to him.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. That's true. But he was a baby at the.
Shelly E wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
They're going after children. That's what they're going after.
Yeah.
Right. For the view hosts as mothers to sit up there, like some of them are grandmothers, to sit up there and act like they're so down with this. It's disturbing. Like, it's just really disturbing. And then they in the clip they even talked about like Christians like Mike Johnson, and they keep coming at Mike Johnson. And like I said, Christians just kind of leaving him to hang out to dry. Like, they're just making fun of him. And even when he says things like, I believe that, God is, going to judge us as a nation. Y'all hear that in every sermon on Sunday. And then y'all will allow these idiots, the View hosts, to tell y'all, oh, that's not true. Like, it's so frustrating for me as a Christian.
Absolutely, for me too. But we know that this is what it's going to be. This when you hear it's almost like it sets them off.
Yeah.
When anybody brings up anything to do with the Almighty God.
Yeah.
And if you say Jesus,
don't say Jesus.
They really go off. Because that's how you know it's power. Exactly. It's power in it. And that's why that's right. They go off. They go off because they know that this is, they don't want us reading our Bible. They don't want us praying. They're coming after the children because children are innocent. Children are very malleable. And so they feel like they can get to them, and do something to them, and put them down their way. It's not even about you. Most people don't even care about these homosexuals and stuff. We may not agree, I don't care what you do.
I don't care.
You don't, I don't have to do it, or you don't have to push me to do it. You do what you want to do. Right. But no, they got to raise the flag. I'm not raising a heterosexual flag.
No, I know that's what we need to do, though. We need to just get a heterosexual flag, and we need to just wave it, and let them see how many of us there are. Exactly.
Just like you said, Crystal. They do everything they can. As you mentioned, you don't see them going after Muhammad.
No, you don't.
Buddha. Or you don't see them going after any of this stuff.
None of them.
Jesus.
That's it.
That sets them, that drives them crazy. Mm-hmm. They drive them crazy. So, it's
those same people, they talking about gay Jesus, and you were just saying, go over to Iran or any other Arab Muslim country, and these people who are talking about they support Palestine and all this stuff. I heard someone say on Megyn Kelly, I can't remember the guy's name, but he said, you want to get a flight lesson in an Arab country? Go over there and say you're gay. Your first flight lesson will be thrown off a daggone roof.
Exactly. And
I do want to acknowledge we have another super chatter tonight, Jeff Arrington. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you,
really appreciate it. Yes, indeed. We certainly do. So I thank you so much for that super chat there. Keep them coming, guys. We do this. We aren't getting paid or anything. So we're doing this. We're putting the production together and spending our time, to put out this information to you all, because the mainstream media is so it's just destructive, and it's biased. I mean, even though we have our bias here, but they don't want opposing viewpoints.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. There's some things we can't even say on here. We've been deplatformed and demonetized in the past for just saying stuff that is now factual. We were asking questions and posing different viewpoints regarding the pandemic. Now these things have come to be true, but you don't get monetized back. You don't get platform back. They still keep you off. So thank you so much. We certainly appreciate that.
And it's not enough for us to influence African American men. The largest Democratic voting bloc as a whole is African American women, and we are on the path to changing their hearts and their minds. So you guys' support means everything to us, because you want to see them lose. If they lose the Black woman, it's over.
Let me tell you something. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that is very important. And, we are all on the right, but we all may have different viewpoints on different issues. Me personally, I voted for Trump. And if he is the nominee, I will vote for him. Again, he's not my first choice for the nominee, but if he is the nominee, I am definitely voting for him. And it looks like he is going to be the nominee. But what is up with other women on the right? And this is what I want to talk to. I am one who, I was not the happiest with Trump, with some of the things he said, in the past, and some of the things he's done. But I recognize that he was a very good president.
Yes, he was.
His administration and policies and things that he did while in office were great for the country. The country was booming. I am not going to get all my panties in a bunch over mean tweets when I see what the left is doing.
And if they're honest with themselves, it's not his mean tweets. It's your liberal neighbor that you go and your kids play together and you're afraid that she's going to call you a Trump supporter. It's not his mean tweets, because other people tweet mean things all the time. Other people say mean things all the time. He said a few years ago that when you are a celebrity and when you have a lot of money, that you can walk up to a woman and you can grab them by the pussy and they won't say anything. That is proven in all this R. Kelly drama and everything. Like,
go in any locker room where there are jocks and stuff like that. Come on.
Exactly. So we can't keep using the fact that we didn't like what he said a couple of years ago, or we don't like his attitude. Like, literally, this man who's in office now is saying some of the worst. You're finding out some of the worst things about him and about his family and how they sold your kids' inheritance out. And you're gonna talk about somebody tweeting something that you don't quote unquote like. And some of the meanest people are those soccer moms. Please don't tell me nothing. Don't sit on your high horse.
I say this frequently. I've said it more than once.
This man, you talk about taking down the prestige of the White House. This man had a LGBTQ day at the White House, and you had them on the lawn topless.
And cocaine.
Yes.
They probably left cocaine at the White House. Y'all forgot that.
I say this all the time. I've said it once. I've said it 100 times. I voted for Trump twice on purpose. Not even holding my nose. I wanted to do it. And if he wins the nomination again, I will vote for him again, because I will not vote for a Democrat. And again, I'm going to support the nominee of my party. I might not agree. And I have criticized Trump. I didn't like everything he did. I was upset about the way he handled the COVID scamdemic, particularly at the beginning. I was upset about all of that. I was upset when he was releasing criminals because of some celebrity came into the White House. I was upset about that. But again, overall, I had to, take away my personal upset, if you will, and look at the big picture. That's what he did. He was good for the country.
We are in danger.
Yes.
Kelly E wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Yeah. And I heard
mothers.
Yeah.
Mothers.
Yep.
You do not see that they are trying and have. You go to California, you can't even govern your child in school. If you cannot see that they are taking away every right that we have. We were just talking about New York City and how crime and how they're about to cut the police force. Do you know that they just passed laws taking away most of your right to carry? This is what this is not even about people's perception of if you are a MAGA or Trump voter. We are in danger.
Yeah, and I voted for Trump. I was a never Trumper in 2016, and then I voted for him in 2020 because, just like anything else, when you do a good job, you get reelected. He did a good job. And I heard somebody the other day saying he's not presidential. I don't know what crack y'all are smoking, but the only thing that requires the trait that requires to be president is courageous and to be strong, not to be nice, not to be a wuss, not to be a wuss. It is to be strong and courageous. And if we're measuring by standards, by that standards, he's the best president that we ever had.
Well, I'm gonna say this.
I have to acknowledge the super chatter, Rico.
Thank you, Rico.
Thank
you,
baby.
Look, I'm gonna say this. And I think I've said it on here before, or at least maybe not the way I'm going to say it now, but to some degree, the way I think when he paid Stormy, what's her name, Stormy Daniels, whatever, $100,000, he should have given her more. He could have given me $1 million. I would have kept quiet.
She's a fool.
I would have kept quiet.
It's a hustle. Like now, not to kind of throw it off, but now Cassie came out. She's suing Diddy. Like, it's all a hustle. You was with it. You was with the drugs. You was with the money. You remember back in the day, you guys, R. Kelly, and all the it's a bunch of celebrities, and it was like, if you not effing, get off the bus. So one would assume that if you still on the bus, Cassie, that you effing. So
I'll share something with. I actually met R. Kelly. I was in DC. I was in college, and this is many years ago. And was at went to the concert, and then after the concert, like many of them do, they have they have after parties. Mm-hmm. Me and my girlfriend, we went down to the after party, and they weren't letting everyone in, but his bodyguard or his assistant or somebody saw me and my friend, and so he was like, "Oh, you can come in." And so we went in. We're sitting with R. Kelly with a bunch of other ladies. He was very nice, talking to us and stuff. He was asking my name, "How you doing? Did you enjoy the show?" Da da da. Then it came time to leave, and he was like, he took a whole bunch of us. He was like, "Let's go. We're going to the next party in my hotel." And everybody got into the limo except me and my friend, because we was like, "Oh, this is where we stop."
For you.
Yeah. The only thing
people don't do it. That's all you gotta do.
The only thing I say to that, like this, P. Diddy, whatever his name is this year, Sean, Puff, whatever. The only thing I say to that is that where there is no consent, if it's not consensual, I have a problem with it. Again, I don't know what the facts are to that. I think she just settled from what I read earlier. No. What I'm saying is to say, unlike Trump, his encounters were consensual, right? But to adults, that's why I said if he could have given me the million, a couple of million, I would have been mum's the word.
That doesn't make. I mean, yes, I agree that it has to be consensual, of course. But my thing about it is, and this goes back to it's kind of like the whole thing with Trump, because okay, the law was broken. Okay, the law was broken, but she continued with it until the money stopped.
Exactly.
So to me,
it's like,
that's how they be doing. He was drugging you, he was abusing you, but he was giving you money and things like that. So it was okay. But as soon as the money stops years later, now you want to press charges and sue him for money because the money stopped. I can't get.
Well, I know. No, I hear what you're saying again. But she's alleging, and that's the other people that have come out since then are alleging that they did those things under drugs and under non-consensually. They were drugged or whatever, beaten, all kinds of stuff. So that I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. But this is what they're saying. They're coming out now. However long ago, but again, I read that she settled earlier yesterday.
It was 2 days. He settled with her like within 2 days, $30 million.
And I'm going to tell you, just like Joe Brown said, that if you are on drugs and you are driving and you kill somebody, you are legally responsible. So if you are on drugs and you allow yourself to be slutted out, you are legally responsible.
That's different.
No, it's not. No, how is that different?
If somebody is drugging you.
No, she said that she took the pill. In the deposition, she said he gave me something and told me to take it.
Yeah, she
under threat.
Years.
She's saying, right?
Years. He's doing the same thing with Young Miami. And this is what I can't get with these women. If it was a one-time thing, if it was you went with them for one, like this thing I went with. Let's say if I went with R. Kelly that night, and something happened and he abused me or assaulted me sexually or whatever. And that was it. And then let's say maybe 2 weeks went by and I finally reported to the police. That's one thing. Yes. But this thing, these people are in relationships for years. She has reached, and not only were they in relationships, but this talentless woman, because they used to say it all the time, she has no talent. She was just a pretty face. She could not sing. Yes. She could not sing. She could not dance. She only got these jobs and these positions because of him. Mm-hmm. She paid with her body.
Yep.
But now
and he should get his money back. He should get all that rent. If you going to sue me, then okay, I want my money back.
I'm 50-50 on this only because of again, I haven't read it's settled now, but only because I'm just saying they are alleging. I'm not saying that it's been proven one way. I'm just saying they are alleging that they did these things under force. There was no consent. Force, threat, whatever.
So let's say for her, for instance, Cassie, she dated Puff Daddy for years. Let's say 5 years. Let's just say 5. I think it was more than that, but let's just say 5 years they dated. Year 1, they're doing drugs. They're doing threesomes. She's on for it. And let's say at the end of year 1, he does assault her physically, maybe rapes her, maybe drugs her, whatever. Not whatever, but maybe that's what happens. She continues to stay with him. She doesn't report it. 4 years later, she's still doing this. Maybe he did it just one time, but now she's doing it consensually, the drugging, the drinking, threesomes, foursomes, whatever.
Yeah.
What I mean, so she's like many years later.
Yeah, unfortunately, they can happen. Look, it happened with Bill Cosby.
No, don't go there.
No, I'm saying it happened with Bill Cosby, and Bill Cosby admitted that he did drug those women or some of those women.
The women
years later
said in their deposition, the women said, and I quote, you can go back and look at it.
Okay.
He told me that he would give me something to relax, and I took it. The fact that we are saying that these women are blameless, and
they also said that they were beaten, they were threatened, they also said all of that. Yes, they did say all of that.
I know they said, but then they stayed.
Exactly. Cassie
And the
said,
people in domestic violence do stay in relationships a long time. I'm not saying
and getting paid. Getting paid.
Period. Thank you, KJ.
I don't get it. I don't get it. These women don't have.
Cassie said I was dating Kid Cudi, and P. Diddy didn't want me to date him and said he was going to blow up his car. And apparently Kid Cudi's car got blowed up for me to be with him. So I went back to him. He blowing up people's cars, and you have a boyfriend all of a sudden, and now you go back to him. It's a hustle, Shelly. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. These girls is getting paid. Period.
Yeah, they're getting paid. I mean, look at Cardi B. She at least admitted to it.
I
She
know.
did it for years. She did it for years. You know, she hustled these guys. You know, what do people think that life is like? I know people who have done this. I mean,
I know people have done it too.
They try to act like it's glamorous, but it's a hard life. It's a hard life, and they continue. This is why I'm not an advocate for even the prostitution and stuff. It's a hard life for women. It is.
I'm not an advocate for it, but you know how I feel about that. But
and that's why. And honestly, like the fact that these men are going through this. I mean, we didn't talk about the fact that a lot of these rappers are coming out for Trump. Like they know because people who got money or people who are in power, they understand the game and they see it far away. Like Waka Flocka came out for Donald Trump. Right. And mind you, I do not believe that celebrities are leaders. I do not. I don't.
One second. I want to acknowledge this super chatter, Mo Garrett.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
Thank
it says Trump 2024 here in California. All
right, Mo.
All right, Mo.
But wait a minute, Crystal. I'm sorry, Crystal. To your point, look, you're right. So why do we elevate again these celebrities in outside of whatever their craft or talent may be? Then we got to put them in the political and think, oh, because Cardi B endorses Joe Biden, it must be something to that, or whomever. No, I endorse Trump not because of whatever celebrity, not because of Kanye and Kim Kardashian. I endorse Trump because I wanted his policies in place.
Yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to put it out there because I do not believe that celebrities are leaders at all. Right. But I will say that like people are waking up, and the more courage that people have, like the more courage that people have to come forth saying, hey, we don't want what Joe Biden is giving us. We want what we had in 2016 to 2020, the more people hopefully will feel courageous enough to say, I don't agree with all this LGBTQ stuff. I don't agree with the gas prices. I don't agree with us going into World War III. Like, I hope people get the courage. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yep. And I hope they read, they hope they research and go past the headlines. I mean, you had, I think it was Morning Joe, MSNBC, saying that Republicans are fascists, and we are far from fascists.
They don't know the meaning of the word.
They're the ones who were forcing people to get vaxxed. They're the ones who forced businesses to close. With faulty information. Now we know that that wasn't even true, and they knew it.
Exactly.
Just the other morning. Yeah, just the other morning, they were making fun of Mike Johnson for being a Christian, and they were like, oh, he hears from above. Y'all know we all do hear from that still small voice. And so for Christians to allow people like Morning Joe, these people are so ignorant, and they would sell them souls. Like Joe said that he was a Republican. There's no way. It's a hustle for him to kind of Morning Joe to seem like it's bipartisan, and it's just not. It's never. That's why you was sleeping with Mika, shorty.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. And
Well, the saying goes, if
that's
it's
what
one thing you can be sure of, is that if the left is accusing or blaming the right of something, that's what they're doing. They're accusing you of what they're doing. So, I mean, that's as sure as night is from day. So
yeah. And I'm a big Trump. I'm a big Trump supporter. Like, but honestly, you guys, I hope he just doesn't. Like, I want him to prioritize himself and his family, his kids, because we are such losers. We don't deserve him. Honestly, we don't deserve him.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
I can't.
I'm the country first, so I feel like Trump, his policies were very good for the country. And I do, if he's the best for the country, then I hope he continues on. I mean, that's my thoughts there. Whatever we do, we need to get Biden out. Biden needs to go. The Democrats need to go.
Yeah.
And so I hope people wake up and really, like I said, research these issues and realize that, Republicans are not trying to, take your rights away. I mean, it's so far from the truth. The Republicans are not, even with the LGBT stuff, nobody is saying, trying to force people to be heterosexual. Nobody is doing that. It's just like, we don't have to hear about this 24/7.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do, just do it. We don't have to hear about it.
Yeah.
And we don't have to talk to our kids about it.
Yeah. And it's so unfortunately, the men are allowing it. The men in our like the men, the daddies should be like, absolutely not. And I hope that the men start stepping up. Like,
it's really the women. The women are the allies. I'm an ally. It's these
for the Democrat Party, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The men got to step up and men
stepped up. Look what they did to this. We have, for the Bud Light issue, it only was able to come about because men.
Yeah.
Men did that.
Yep.
Women haven't stood up against any of these corporations yet. Men did it. DeSantis in Florida, he did all this stuff against the LGBT. The only women on the right, I would say, that are really standing up against this are Moms for Liberty. They're actually out there in the street, in the classrooms, standing up for parental rights. And they're not banning books. They just want appropriate literature in schools.
Did you see that article? Did you see that article where they call Moms for Liberty extremists?
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, I think that. Who was that? LeVar Burton. I think it was.
It was like BuzzFeed or something. Yeah, like
you said it wasn't LeVar Burton.
No, it was LeVar Burton. It was LeVar Burton. I am so sick of that. Tell that queen to sit down somewhere.
I know. And when are we though, KJ, just gonna get so, like, when are we just gonna not take it? Like, we can't.
I pulled my son out of a school that was pushing that stuff.
Yeah.
And we all do stuff. LeVar Burton calls out Moms for Liberty at National Book Awards, books under attack. Yes, attack these books. We talked about this on the show. Gender Queer and all of these other books that are so vivid with pictures of male on male sex and talking about these teachers bringing sex toys to elementary school.
Right.
It's
ridiculous. It goes back to, there's an attack on childhood, on children, the innocence. And I think too many adults still don't understand. They think that when they send their children to schools, that's it should be a generally trustworthy place where children can go and learn, be children. But you can't assume that in this day and age. You just cannot. And a lot of these a lot of teachers are pushing their own personal agenda. We can't read and write. Children can't read and write and do math, but they can know every daggone kind of sex position and what part goes in what part. If it's 2 women, 2 men. Why? It's an attack on the innocence of children. And these are adults trying to live out their sordid fantasies through children. Leave the children the fuck alone.
And it's so stupid because, I mean, like children don't need help with having sex. Like, children need help with becoming adults and citizens, and if you sexualize them at this early age, like, what kind of citizen do you think they're going to be? They're going to end up hurting other people, and
they don't care. That's not important to them.
Exactly. And it should be, we should take it so personal as moms, and that's why I said, like, Joy Behar and all of them, like we should, the fact that they are still on TV,
right,
like, is it
right? These are the same people that will tell you, oh, they can't be prosecuted for crimes because their brains are not developed until 25. But yet you can tell them how to screw every Tom, Dick, and Harry every which way from Sunday. But when they're 10 years old, they're ready for that, right? But they're ready for all of that. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's again, it's perverted. And I also, I don't think enough attention is put on these administrators, because when you watch, things like libs of TikTok, and if you guys haven't watched it, I find it on social media, Instagram, YouTube, libs of TikTok. When you see all of these teachers, they look crazy. Who is hiring them? Who is hiring these twisted people? Everybody's got red hair, green hair. They got holes in everything they can find a hole in. Their cheeks, their nose, their lips, their forehead. I mean, who is hiring them?
The same system that promulgates this is that's the same system that's hiring them. So to them, again, just like we have these people coming in replacing the Democrat Party or a new population, they're feeding their own system. They are supplying their own people to keep their system going, and they're going to keep coming after our children. So again, they're 10 years old, 12 years old. They should know how to screw everything that's not nailed down, but they're ready for that. But they're not ready for, like you said, Crystal, teaching them how to develop good character.
Yeah. And not only that, but then what do? So they teach them at an early age about sex, and then they push them to abortion.
Exactly. And I was saying something to this person today, and they were like, oh, a 13-year-old doesn't know how to be a mom. I was like, you're teaching them how to have sex, even though they don't need help. Like, it's kind of a natural thing. Right. They kind of get that, but you don't want to teach them how to be a mom. Mm-hmm. Like, why are we not taking these kids and teaching them, hey, this is what being a mom is. This is what being a parent. That probably is some of the best birth control ever. If they knew all that it took to be a responsible adult and how it's required in this society. But unfortunately, it's just not. We don't shame these people who are treating their kids bad, who are just useless and worthless members of our community. We don't shame them, and we should.
Yeah, we should. Well, again, it's that viral video of the teacher who talked about, she was the ballet teacher who talked about how she is, trying to teach these kids ballet. They don't follow direction.
Oh, yes.
They talk back very disrespectful, and all they want to do is twerk. They want to twerk. Yep. And they want to talk about these nasty rappers like Suki Hana and Sexy Red. This is what
it's not the children, it's the adults. These are the adults that are corrupting the children. And we talked about the Bible earlier. One of my favorite passages, and again, I know people like to say, oh, God is love, Jesus is love. But you know what one I love, one of the best ones I love, or the scripture I love, when Jesus says that basically anyone who hurts children or corrupts them, they should be thrown into the sea with a millstone around their neck. Absolutely. So I think that is beautiful. If Jesus is love, then that's my guy for that passage.
Absolutely, absolutely. We don't know what's in.
Shelly E. wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
And going back to the abortion thing too, like, we don't understand what the Bible says about hands that shed innocent blood, and we wonder why we're sick, and we wonder why our communities are like, you cannot continue to shed innocent blood and have a healthy community.
But we're not supposed to talk about that because they're saying that's what's losing elections, talking about abortion, and that's why they're pushing this sexuality on kids, but yet they don't want to talk about biology to kids. if they explain how a baby is formed in these schools and what it means to have an abortion, and no, it's not like what they said on Shout Your Abortion, where you just it's just over with. What she said?
And none of these women are having abortions. They're not having abortions. These are white liberals who have wonderful lives, wonderful jobs, and if they get pregnant, they are not aborting. They're convincing us, the people who are in the hood, to kill our seeds.
Well, that's where all the abortion clinics are. They're
That's
right
what-
there.
yeah, that's what
They're not at the border. They don't put the abortion clinics at the border.
No.
Well, let me put a plug in for the crisis pregnancy centers. They have different names in different states and cities. But if you are listening and you are finding yourself with an unwanted pregnancy, you don't have to go to Planned Parenthood. You can go to the pregnancy center. At least there's one here in Baltimore City, right next door to a Planned Parenthood. Does excellent work. So I know people always say, "Well, conservatives, you all don't have solutions." That is one of your solutions.
Yeah, don't kill your baby. Like, seriously, do not kill your baby. God is in charge. God is in charge. Not you. God is in charge.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think it's a situation where people just are not informed.
Nope.
We are always taught that if you do have an unwanted pregnancy, abortion, or plan B or something like that. And, not enough. I don't think the messaging is getting out to young people that there are other options. And so, now, with hopefully they see these other options, but it's an agenda. They don't want these other options
No,
out.
they don't.
Yeah, they
They
know.
don't want these
And
other-
it's so sad because they're convincing the most educated of our community, so the Black community, they're convincing the young, educated that they have a lot to lose. And the worst of our community are not having abortions. The crackhead down the street with 17 prior babies is not having abortions.
How many children did Joyce Floyd have?
Exactly. Those people are not having abortions. It's the college educated. It's the, oh, you're gonna ruin your future. I know I'm a victim of that, of somebody telling me that I needed to have an abortion because I was gonna kill my future.
Yeah,
And I take it very personally as someone who has had an abortion.
right. Yeah, that's what I said. That's what they push.
Yes.
They push this to the youth. They push this to young women. It's in classrooms now. This is this is the go-to. Yeah. And if conservatives talk about anti-abortion things, then we're the bad guys. We and that's what I'm talking about. And then women. This is women leading these people down this way. These young people. These are women.
And women,
it's mostly women, but again, I'm not necessarily defending it. I'm going to say this: when there is a break, there are consequences all around.
You're right.
When there's a break from the foundation, there's going to be consequences. So again, that break is going to leave some kind of emptiness, some kind of hole. It's going to be filled with something. It's not all going to be good, unfortunately. But so this is what I'm going to kind of play devil's advocate here. So like you were saying, KJ, it's as women and, we're telling our children this. So some of the pushback is that, well, again, conservatives, you all don't have any solutions. Well, if you're young people, if they're going to have sex, then, what are you supposed to do? Or how, a teenager, we don't want them having babies. That's going to, like you said, ruin their future. Well, then how are we, or what can we be doing to our young people to say, no, okay, if you do get pregnant or if you do find yourself on the wrong path, whatever that may be, how do we get them? What message are we giving them to come back into the fold, or better yet, to not even go that way?
Well, number one, we have totally stopped teaching abstinence. We have totally stopped. And I think that should be number one. That should be the first thing we teach our girls and our boys. We need to teach abstinence and waiting until marriage. That is the number one. Now, I'm not saying, I don't think we should do that and nothing. You must be abstinent. If you shouldn't have to. But also, I think we should start with that, and then we should also say, but if you decide, if there is something that you do decide to have sex before marriage, and again, talk about the idea of marriage and relationships and, being with someone that you love, someone that you're committed to. This stuff none of this is being, now it's just free sex. It's like sex with any and everybody, not in a committed relationship. All that is being pushed. And it's not only, and I don't want to get off track, it's not just affecting us as far as having abortions and unwanted pregnancies. There's a mental disconnect with these women. Their worth, their self-worth, and all of that is out the window. So that needs to be firmly submitted and talked about to young people.
Yeah.
But again, if you get pregnant, you're gonna keep that baby.
Yeah.
If I was a parent, I am a parent. That's what if you get a girl pregnant, you will be a father.
Yes.
You will be. There will be nothing else.
Yes.
Nothing else.
Well, I do want to add. I'm not, I hear what you're saying, KJ. I'm not anti-adoption either. I think adoption is also a beautiful choice. So I'm not anti-adoption in that sense. But even if it's not pregnancy, if it's not pregnancy or sex related, there are so many other wrong paths that young people can get on. It's up to us, as whatever using our, if you want to, our faith, our experience, whatever. It's up to us to be adults and be courageous and bold enough to say no, at least not while you're living in my house.
Absolutely.
Right? To be parents. No, and there are better options. And guess what? There are some young people who are doing good things. And it can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just like everything is just so corrupt. And everybody's so loosey goosey now.
We're not happier. We're not better. Like if we were loosey goosey and we were happy and we're not. We are losing our sense of self-worth, as you said. We're losing our sense of family, of community. Like, who wants to be around somebody that is loosey goosey, sleep with you? Like we're losing everything, and nobody's saying stop. Hey, it's not working.
Right. And at least I think all of us around the same age, we came up when AIDS first came on the scene.
Oh yeah.
Now
you remember, it's like you got the monster.
Now it's just like they're not even talking about consequences of sex. Yeah, sex is wonderful and with the right person and things like that, but a lot of other things come with sex. STDs, pregnancy, all that you got to worry about with this stuff, and so people are not even talking about that anymore. Now all they want to talk about, I got AIDS. Okay, what prescription you gonna give me? I got gonorrhea. What you gotta give me? What can you give me to get rid of? It's just, oh my gosh, this is mess.
Yeah.
All right. That does bring us to the end of our show tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Continue the conversation by checking us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and subscribe. Remember, I said we're also, if you don't watch us here on YouTube, you can check us out on Apple Podcast and Spotify, along with Rumble. We're on Rumble now as well. So again, you can check us out on any of those ways. You get up-to-the-minute content when we post, and we appreciate the support. We are an independent media, and each time you subscribe, it helps to make our voice that much stronger. So please share this on your social media. Send it in a DM to your maybe moderate or liberal friends. Maybe we can bring them over to the right side. So definitely do that. Again, check us out on our website at www.popandpoliticslive.com. All right, we look forward to seeing you next week. Actually, this is Thanksgiving, so we will not be on for this Wednesday, but we will be back next Wednesday, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Unless something pop off.
Right. Yeah. Something goes down.
That's right. That's a good point, Crystal.
Yeah. Quick, impromptu broadcast. So that's why you have to hit the notification bell on YouTube, so when we are going to broadcast, you're notified.
And when y'all want to spend some Christmas money, come give us some super chats. There ain't no shame. We need some
Yes.
some Christmas money on us.
Right. Yes, indeed. And go out and help somebody too who needs the help. Definitely. All right. So until then, count
Happy
your
Thanksgiving,
blessings.
everybody.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you. Until then, next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.